Hey guys, anybody out there in the world today? Thought I'd come in here for a few minutes, let you guys know an update on life and what's going on with the channel and me. If you're interested, can't see a damn thing with those sunglasses. Let's put the cheaters on and see if we can see anything coming in on the texts. I can't even tell if there's anybody in the room or not. Pretty damn sad. That's much better. Now I can see. I can see a hell of a lot better. They need to be cleaned. You guys are probably all working or busy with your own lives at this point. I don't know if this is a good time, if I'm interrupting another channel or anything else, but I thought I'd get in here, see what's going on. If you haven't been here before, my channel's Stugan What Stuff and Things. I'm not sure how to say your name, dude. Deadly? Danley? Diddley? I'm not sure. I'm not real good with words, but thank you for showing up and thank you for saying hello. That means a lot to me. I don't know if you've been to the channel before, but we generally have live streams on Sunday at 4:45 p.m., but they've been on hold. I've got too much going on in my life right this minute. Too many things going crazy. Delaney, okay. I apologize, my friend. I have a spelling problem. Hey, Betty. Glad to see you, darling. Trying to get in here and be a little bit more motivated. I thought I'd give an update on life. I thought if some of the regulars showed up, I'd let you guys know what's going on and why I haven't been on. My goal is to get back to the channel at some point, but I guess I go ahead and spill everything right now. Delaney, I have a couple of times, brother, but just recently caught you on your channel. No worries. Well, I appreciate it, Delaney. Life's been hard for me lately. Betty, what's going on is my dad is in hospice dying. We've been up there for more than a week. He's hanging in there so far. So that's one thing on me. What's it called? Parkinson's depression is set in. That's the other thing. And it's not doing great. But that'll get better. I'm trying to go get help for that. I just had to take my little dog, the white one, to the vet. She had a massive seizure last night. So I'm dealing with that. My wife we're taking turns at the hospital. She's at the hospital right now. So I've got to go back to the house. My go bag, I wanted you to know, my get home bag that we made a few weeks ago. Oh my God, it's come in so handy for this whole thing with my catheters in there. Hey, Robo, man, I appreciate you stopping by. But the bag, I mean, my medicine, the catheters, and all, I've gone through most everything, and then I figured out what else I need to add. I got to put a power brick in there. I've got to put a charger line for the phone, obviously. Just a few other things, but man, the bag has worked out great. Because when I walk for the hospital, it's a 20-minute walk from the parking to the room where he's at. 20 minutes for me, and I have to stop twice. Not that I'm out of breath from not being able to handle it with my heart. From the Parkinson's, the shaking gets so bad by the time I walk, I don't know, a couple hundred yards or something like that, and it's just a mess. But eventually he'll go, and then I'm gonna have to deal with the house and all the estate stuff, and I'm debating whether I'm going to continue to work or not. But those are all problems that I got to deal with. I don't want to burden y'all with it. I know you guys wanted an update and wanted to know what's going on. I'm going to keep the time slot for the live streams, and I hope to get back to them. I've ordered a slab of knives. I've got 8 maybe, and unfortunately I've gone the expensive route. So there's stupid, ridiculous prices on some of them. But I fell in love with them and just had to have them. So you guys can imagine, I haven't unpackaged any of them because I want to make videos for that. But I just don't have the time to sit down and get all this done right now with everything that's going on. See, Dugan, you're not the only one that can't say my name. Well, Delaney, I apologize again. I have a learning disability, and I almost feel like I'm autistic sometimes. I don't know how I've managed to get this far in life. It's amazing to me. I know when I was doing a little police work back in the day, you had to write all your reports longhand. That's pretty much why I got out of the business, because I couldn't do it. The Knight family is always here for you, brother and Sister Dugan. Hey, man, I know it. I'm going to be honest with you. If it wasn't for these regulars that came into my channel, even my granddaughter, she was in on the stream, the last one I did, and she said, I was talking to her yesterday about everything, and she said, you know, those are the nicest group of people that I've ever seen online. And I agree. You guys are awesome, without a doubt. I mean, each and every one of you. And, you know, to date, just so you know, I have yet to have a person come in here and be ugly, show their ass, or do anything that obstructed the video or anything at this point. And there's been plenty of opportunities because I've gone live. I think I'm up to episode 16, so that's at least an hour-ish for each one. So there's plenty of opportunity for people to come in and show their asses. But I've been fortunate I haven't had anybody do that yet. Robo, so you're ugly, you just didn't get to see Cam. Yeah, I know. I see what's his name, the Knight's Edge, and I have been talking to each other, and hopefully we're going to collaborate here soon. I see that he's jumped way out ahead of me. I got to 900 subscribers and I stalled, which is much appreciated, but he's at like just under 1,000. I mean, just barely under 1,000. So he's going to beat me to 1,000. But it was funny. There was a guy in there teasing him about his vape. He says something about, what was it? Suck on that thing like you dashed into a gas station for something. I don't know. It was hilarious though. He is kind of loud on it. You know, Cole tries to be a little bit more discreet, but the Knight's Edge, he's like, I mean, he takes a big ass hit on that thing. I never got into smoking or doing any of that stuff, so he just recently got to 1,000. All right, Delaney. Well, that makes me feel even worse, because I'm sure he started after I did. I've been doing this about 6 years, but I've been really working on it the last year and a half. I wish him well, though. I wish anybody that's out here trying to do this well, because it's not easy. People think it's easy. It's definitely not easy. It takes perseverance. It takes a little know-how to figure everything out. You know, I wonder sometimes when I don't see a live come up on my, you know, regular channel, and I get to looking at, I somehow made it private, and I don't know how I did that. And I'm hoping this one goes public and that it gets some traction. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, I know that you guys wanted an update, but also part of me said, well, I better do something to let people know that I'm still here, you know, that I'm going to try to get back into getting things to normal once my dad passes and things settle down a little bit and get going on stuff. Pay you in stickers. Flip pics. You guys are hilarious. Bootleg DVDs. That's funny as crap. Well, I do have stickers and I have my cards. I do have some knives that I've ordered for giveaways. I got one knife that I'm going to probably order 10 of that I've absolutely fallen in love with, and it's absolutely a cheap little knife, but I've been using that knife more than any knife that I've got, and I dare say it's about 16 bucks or less. And it is bad to the bone. Functionality wise, it's unbelievable. Flips fantastic. It's a little cheap knife, and I'm going to get a bunch of those for some little giveaways. The cycle of life is not easy, brother. No, it's not. But, you know, I get it. He's 87. He's struggling. He kept falling and having seizures. And, you know, I just took my little dog to the vet, and she's having seizures. And, you know, things come in threes, they say. So we'll see what happens. But my dad's stuff is going to be a nightmare to deal with. He was a big baseball card dealer for ever and ever and ever, when all that was real popular. And he's got more baseballs and stuff signed, football paraphernalia, footballs that have been signed. They're probably not worth nearly what they used to be. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but the town I live in, Chipper Jones played high school ball here. It was a boarding school. He had the foresight in Chipper's senior year to go see Chipper at a card show event that he was at, and had him sign about 100 baseball cards before he went on to play for the Braves. And I don't know what those are going to be worth. And he's got some expensive stuff. Robo, I'll keep you in mind if you're really interested. When I get into this whole deal and start tearing through stuff, I'll reach out to you and see if there's anything of interest to you, because I know he's got some really rare stuff. Only cars worth anything anymore are pre-1950s from what I've seen. Yeah, and I dare say he's probably got a fair amount of those. You know, he used to be one of those guys, he would set up and he'd buy all those Topps packs. You know what I'm talking about? The big display boxes with the blister packs. And I went to a couple shows that he did, and those kids would run up to those tables and they would just rip them open and stand over a garbage can and go junk, 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 junk. Good. You know, and out of that whole pack, they might keep 3-4 cards at the most. And I mean, he would sell the living crud out of them. He also traveled to every Super Bowl for about 10 years. He never actually probably went to the games, but they always had a show that was correlated with the Super Bowl, and they had all kind of paraphernalia in there. So he would set up his cards and all that stuff. And I can't tell you how many cities that he's been in and did that in. Then he would do the big shows in Vegas every year. I'd say, with no exaggeration, he's got more than 100,000 cards. And I'm not kidding. There is just a gob of them. I know in the front cabinet of his house, I bet there's 5 signed baseballs that are old as crud. I kept all mine, but lucky me, I grew up, and then in the 80s and 90s, when every other kid across America was collecting cards. I got you. Well, I don't know what we've got with those cards. I have no idea. I'm going to have to get an expert in. I don't even know if there's a card shop left existing in this town or not. I'm not familiar with one. There used to be 2 or 3. This was a big enough city at one time that it could support 3 or 4 ball, card companies or shops, or whatever you call them, sports shops. So we'll see. We got to deal with all that, but that's life as well. Betty, did you run off, or are you still in here, hon? I have no idea where any cards shops are around anymore. Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like, the pawn shops are starting to thin out a little bit. Unless you get over by the bases, then there's quite a few around. It seems like the service people are always needing a pawn shop. I figured I'd have to go to one of the big cities. Yeah, I agree with you. And our city's pretty big. Actually, it's the biggest in the state of Florida. And I'd be willing to bet if there is at all any, there's only one at the most. From what I probably remember, there was like two at one time the last time I checked. But we'll see. We'll figure it all out. You know, that's what I guess my next year will be, dealing with all that. He's got a really sweet couple caddies. He's got I want to say a 2014 Escalade pickup truck that is that pearl white with big ass rims on it, pimped out. And if I remember correctly, that vehicle has less than 30,000 miles on it. That he's got some type of old Cadillac that was built in the 80s, I think 1988, that's sitting in the garage. That what am I thinking of? I have no idea what that car is going to be worth either. I know the Escalade, the Cadillac dealership wants it and been bugging everybody to buy it from him. So we'll see. There's Mr. Eddie. Man, I've heard a lot about you, sir. You support a lot of channels and get them going. You're a big deal. Thank you for showing up, man. That's an honor, sir. I've seen all the knives you've been dealing out to a couple of the guys, and I'm impressed. I'm afraid to send knives in the mail, to be honest with you. I got 6 knives coming from Civivi, and I'm fighting with them right now. They're telling me my P.O. box is no good. And I'm like, I'm getting mail right and left at this, you know, it's got a street address with it's called a public mailbox. And they're telling me they're going to cancel my order because they can't figure out how to ship there. But 2 weeks earlier, they sent knives to me. That's what I don't understand. So I gave them both addresses for the house and that one, and we'll see if I ever get they're threatening to cancel my order, which I'm not sure why they would want to do that, but they're being dicks, for lack of a better term, right? No, you are a big deal, Mr. Eddie. I mean, I hear your name mentioned by, you know, some of the smaller channels like mine, and you've really supported and helped them with knives they could probably never put their hands on. So don't underestimate yourself, sir. I think it's a big deal that you're in my chat today, to be honest with you. I think it's a damn big deal. And Delaney's new to me, as far as I know. I don't see anybody else regular except for Robo, and Betty was in here earlier. Gons is probably working, and everybody else is probably working. I just was trying to give the people an update on my channel that I'm not throwing the towel in completely. Been dealing with the depression and dealing with my dad and dealing with the dog and the wife and life and blah, 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 blah. But my goal is to probably wind up quitting my consulting gig and just working and playing on YouTube. Getting to the range and doing a bunch of footage out there and get the pew-pews going on the channel. I can't do the lives with them, but I damn sure can talk about them during the lives and show video, though. Why keep things to myself when I can let others enjoy them as well? Good point, sir. I'm just afraid to send anything in the mail, though. I didn't sure the living crap out of it. I gotta run. All right, Delaney. I appreciate you stopping in, man, and I'm going to try to get you guys another update in another 3 or 4 days. I will not have my live stream this Sunday. I just don't see it happening, and I don't wish my dad to go tonight or anything. I kind of do. He's been laying there for more than a week in a coma, and you know, I just wish he would go so he can get on with the next journey. Does that make sense? Start making knives as well. That's what I do to distract myself. That's pretty damn cool, man. Yeah, and he's a veteran. You know, hospice, you mentioned Memorial Day. This hospice unit is beautiful in the hospital. Mahogany doors, mahogany trim, I mean, just all very nice. And then they had all the military flags in the front on these rails, and they knew that he was with the 101st Airborne and he was Army. So they moved the Army flag off of that down to his room and put it outside his door, which I thought was pretty good because that meant a lot to him in this time in the service. I'm glad that, let's see, Betty's talking to somebody. Robo, you see, or Eddie, I'm a veteran myself. Cool, Eddie, thank you for your service. So, let's see, we can still activate, have a year left before I can retire. Oh, really? Pretty cool, man. That's awesome. Well, you know, that's the way to do it. And you'll be young. I would assume you're a young man. You're probably in your early 40s if that's the case, if you're ready to get to retirement age. Am I guessing about right on that? People always think of me for thanking me for my service. Then I went into the moment by telling them that I don't lose my leg in about... I got you. Well, you know, my dad, I take him to Hooters and I take him to different places for lunch. And he always wore a polo shirt with a 101st Airborne logo on it. And Eddie's 36. See, I knew he was a young man. That means he got in real early. That's awesome, man. That's the way to do it. Double dip the government. Hopefully you got enough money you don't have to work anymore. That would be the key, although that's hard these days. I didn't lose a leg either, but Purple Heart recipient. Oh, really? Well, thank you for your service, and I do mean that. Not only your service, but what you do for the knife community as well. Pretty damn awesome, the knives you're passing around. I'm very impressed by that. I'd be scared to death. Plus, I'm not that good a reviewer. You know, my knowledge of knives is this much compared to the other guys. And you ask me about pew-pews, I can tell you anything you want to know. My collection on that far surpasses my knife collection. If you go back and watch some of my shorts, I've got a short out there that had, I don't even know how many views. Last time I looked, it was 30,000. And basically it's me talking about 2A and opening my walk-in safe door, and that one has gone absolutely apeshit nuts. It's huge video for me. Let's see, I am a self-proclaimed gun expert, laugh out loud. I was to 347 pews at one point. Well, that's more than I had, Mr. Eddie. You're quite the collecting person. I think I'm in the 130 range, something like that is where I'm at. But 374 is damn impressive. Man, you must be rich. Are you very well organized? One or the other. I am OCD would break me trying to stock up the ammo. Yeah, I am too, Robo. I'm as OCD as possible. And I've got all my cans labeled. I know, and I put index cards in them, like the old library index card, like when you check the book out and it had a date and, you know, who got the book and whatever. So what I do is I have a date column. I have the amount was used and what's left. So when I fill up the containers to go to the range and I take 100 rounds, let's say of 9mm, I come back with 20. I, you know, do the tear back and forth and I put it